Brings us to number 9, our superintendent's report. So I will turn it over to Dr. Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and our community. It's an honor to, as we close in on our final days of the school year, we are excited about the work that we've done this far. As always, we are a system guided by 3 critical questions. First, why do we do this work? Second, how do we accomplish this through our mission? And third, what are our outcomes? Our vision is that we love and grow our students. Our mission is that we're focused on academic, social, and emotional growth and development. And then our strategic plan outcomes outline the 24 strategies that we engage in terms of school climate, teacher administrative quality, and, thank you, our student achievement and gifted and talented services. We're also in the growing season, as we have coined this year. We're looking at our fall growth of offline and online students, those students who are on grade level and those students who are off grade level, from fall of last year to fall of this year, from winter of last year to winter of this year, and to see spring of last year to spring of this year. So we're very proud of the growth that we have in our students. That's the hard work of our teachers, the hard work of our students and staff, and our community as we work to ensure that all students are prepared for a productive life. As we look at the challenges, I gave the number to our community of how many students that were not on grade level. And you can see while we have amazing growth, we have still ways to go. And so we are working very hard, very diligently. As you heard, this is exam week. We are wrapping up our exams. So we use every moment as an opportunity to ensure that we're focused on loving and growing our students. And that focus on growth goes all the way up to high school, to our graduates. As we prepare for graduations next week, we're seeing that we track this every week. I appreciate our graduation teams, our school principals, school counselors, that all of our supports and mentors are working in our schools to ensure that there's names behind the numbers and stories behind the names so that we can ensure that all students are able to graduate on time. With our results, we've seen that we've been increasing in all areas with a focus on that graduation rate, but to ensure that our career readiness rate is increasing. So yes, graduation rate is important, but career readiness rate is just as important. So with that, I'm going to ask our interim Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Marty Rawls, to come forward with the monthly financial.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ross, I'm happy to bring to you the March 31st financial statements. These are our revenues as of March 31. You will notice that the taxes still are remaining pretty strong coming in. We will have collected most of the large deposits for the year by this time. We still have a few more dwindling in. State aid to classrooms revenue will be adjusted in May based on the 135th day count. We will find out what our full impact is on May 22nd, so on Wednesday. We did decrease in the average daily membership by approximately 19 students, but as you know, with the funding formula, that's not a percentage. It's not a given that the revenue will go down. There's never a given that it's going to go up. So right now, everything is tracking as normal. We are ahead as where we were this time last year. Let's see if I can get this thing back. Okay, so here we are with the expenditures as of the end of March. And at the end of March, we were also similar to where we were this time last year. So I think all of our projections and our budgets remain in line. And I'll stand for any questions on the general fund revenue or expenditures.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Rawls? All right, I don't see any questions, Ms. Rawls.
Okay. So we will go into the ESSER 3 quarterly update. So as you can see, at the end of March, yet again, we have spent $10,863,000 of our ESSER 3 funding, leaving $2.8 million remaining that was uncommitted. Since that time, we have worked with our schools and our departments and tried to find homes for the funding so that we can ensure that we do spend all the funding, but we spend it in student-centered ways. It's not just about spending the money, it's spending the money for the impact for the district for years to come. So I'm happy to tell you that as of this past Friday, we have committed all of the funding that will remain in the ESSER 3 funds. That will cover a good bit of summer professional development, summer training for the teachers. It's going to cover some Chromebooks. It's going to cover some services for students, some nursing PD, and also some instructional technology and support summer reading camp as well. The challenge with this is that some of the funding is not in the areas where we need the categories that we need the funding in. So we're going to do a spending plan amendment like we've had to many times during the last 2 years to ensure that the monies are in the areas where we need to have the expenditures come through. And the majority of our increases is going to be in the addressing learning loss category. So there again, very student-centered, very responsive to where the needs are with the students and the staff in the district. So we're continuing to lead in that direction. Just to give you some percentages, to date, we are 75% of the funding spent to date. So of the $15 million, we have spent $11,237,000. We have 11% that is currently obligated, and the remaining 14% is what we will work with to address the balance of the student needs that we can. I think that is all, but I will be happy to answer any questions related to ESSER 3 as well.
Mr. Rawls, I have a question related to, so the money for ESSER 3 needs to be spent in total by September of
30th.
2024. So when we make adjustments to the spending plan this late in the game, will we get any pushback? I know sometimes with federal grants,
They don't. We have a window about around the middle of June that we can do a spending plan amendment, but they're also allowing us one in September. So they're up in, the goal of the Department of Education is to spend the money, but spend it wisely where we are meeting the needs that have been identified.
so if something happens and we don't spend all of that money by September and we have to make another adjustment in September to have the money spent, are the services that are allowed or allotted under these dollars allowed to be utilized after September? It just needs to be spent before September?
We have to have spent the money by September 30th is the rules. So
Okay.
we can claim it through, I think it's December 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So we still have time to process the claims and get reimbursed for the expenditures, but all of the activities have to have happened before September 30th.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Ms. Rawls? All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Rolls, and I certainly appreciate the work. We think over the 3 series, that's $23.3 million of funds that we received, and to make sure that all of it is spent to the use outlined by the ESSER series is very impressive and very proud of that. And so I'd like to conclude the superintendent's report. Next week begins the season of graduation, well, actually this week. So just to make everyone aware that the building occupation opportunities in Midlands graduation will be 11 a.m. at Midlands Technical College. That'll be Thursday. On Friday, Project Search graduation will be at Palmetto Health. If you're not familiar with that, that's a program that finds competitive employment for students with disabilities. Started at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and so that'll be at Palmetto Health. And then on next week, we'll have Spring Hill High School's graduation at 4 p.m. on May 29th at Colonial Life Arena. May 30th, we'll have Chapin High School, Dutch Fork High School, Irmo High School, and on June 6th, the adult education. So again, excited to celebrate all of the great achievements of our students, staff, and community as we continue that vision to love and grow our students. Madam Chair, members of the board, that concludes the superintendent's report. I stand for any questions.
Do I have any questions for Dr. Ross? All right, I see none. Thank you, Dr. Ross, for that. Hold on, I do have a question from Mr. Scully.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ross. This is kind of I'll try to relate it to kind of the end of the year type question. I know as we prepare for the end of the year and graduation, families and students are seeing their bill for student fees that have accumulated throughout the year. Is there any process for any that may be having hardships with paying those fees? Is there a process in place for handling that?
Mr. Scully, it would be my understanding that the principals have the autonomy to waive fees if they feel that there is a financial hardship in place. But if there are any that you are aware of that has not been addressed by a principal, you can certainly forward those to my office and I'll take care of it.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay.